The Holy Gospel according to St. John, the 14th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Let's see, I should be sure that I have the right one. Jesus answered, Judas, not Iscariot, those who love me will keep my word, and my Father will love them, and we will come to love them and make our home with them. Whoever does not love me does not keep my words, and the word that you hear is not mine, but it is from the Father who sent me. I have said these things to you while I am still with you. But the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you this before it occurs, so that when it does occur, you may believe. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Please be seated. To satisfy my curiosity, how many of you know the story of the Princess and the Pea? Oh, pretty good. For those of you who don't, here it is. The prince had a problem. His mother was on him constantly to get married and produce an heir so that the line could continue to rule the kingdom. But he couldn't find the right girl. He couldn't find one who was sensitive enough. He'd take them out to dinner. One would sneeze on the menu. One would talk about her former boyfriends. And another would show pictures of her boyfriends to the prince. How to find a girl that's sensitive enough to be the princess? That was the problem. So, the prince and the queen put their heads together and they said, I know how to find a sensitive young woman. We will invite a candidate to the palace. We will stack mattresses up to the heavens. And the queen said, underneath the bottom mattress, I will put a tiny dried vegetable, a pea. And if she feels it during the night, we have our sensitive new princess. Well, they invited a girl. She fell asleep on the tower of mattresses, and the next morning she came out scratching her head with bleary eyes and said, I didn't sleep a wink. What's wrong with those mattresses? I feel terrible. And they looked at each other and they said, we found our princess. I like the Broadway version even better. It's called Once Upon a Mattress. It premiered in 1959 with Carol Burnett. You can't go wrong with Carol Burnett. She played Winifred the Woebegone, who was so anxious to enter the sensitive princess competition that she actually jumped in and swam across the moat to be the first one. When she got inside the palace, she met the prince. His name was Dauntless the Dull, and his mom, the queen, who was named Queen Agravain. Queen Agravain. And they set about the task of testing her and the other candidates. And she won because she was sensitive enough to detect one tiny pea underneath a stack of mattresses that reached up to the heavens. And she became the princess because she was sensitive enough. Christians are sensitive, but sometimes not in the right way, if you know what I mean. St. Paul probably knows what I mean. He was very sensitive. He was sensitive to the fact that there were too many Christians, so he tried to kill them. He was sensitive to the fact that Jews didn't like Christians, so he tried to kill them even harder. And he was sensitive to the fact that Romans didn't like either one. So he was trying 3 times as hard. But then, on the road to Damascus, God took away his sight in a flash of blinding light. And Paul became sensitive in a new way. Let's see how that pans out. After Paul started becoming a success in the preaching business and setting up churches here and there, he decided that he needed to take the church to Asia. And so he got ready and packed his bags and off he went. And God said, no, wait, I don't think so. You're not going to Asia. I won't allow you to enter. I will not allow you to enter. And so Paul was stopped in his tracks. And he unpacked his bags. And that night he had a vision of a man from Macedonia. If you're wondering where Macedonia is, it's right between Albania and Bulgaria, just where it belongs. And the man from Macedonia said, come to Macedonia, we need you there. And Paul, being a sensitive Christian, said, okay. And he repacked his bags for Macedonia and got his friends to go with him, and off they went. When he got to Macedonia, he checked into his hotel, picked up the phone, looked at the yellow pages, and tried to find a church. No, that is not what happened. No yellow pages, no telephone, and no hotel. In those days, if you wanted to find a church in a new town, here's what you did. You looked for the water source. You looked for a stream, or a brook, or a river, or a pond, or a lake. And so that is exactly what Paul did. And when he got to the water, he found women worshiping in one of the early churches. And he knew that he was home. Now, the person who greeted him was equally sensitive in the right way. Her name was Lydia. You may have heard her name before, and you may know that they called her a seller of purple cloth. Now, what that means is that purple cloth was used in robes by the finest and the most powerful people in the empire. If you were a Roman senator, if you were a Roman emperor, if you were a wealthy businessman, if you were a judge or a lawyer, or if you were a general, the label in the back of your purple robe probably said Lydia. So Lydia was doing all right for herself. You might think she didn't need the church, but she did, because she was a sensitive human being. She was sensitive to the will and the call of God. And here's what she did. She took one look at Paul, this stranger from Nowheresville that had been traveling all day, and she said, if you think I'm faithful enough, I'd like you to stay at my house. And bam! Sensitivity meets sensitivity and creates something new. I wonder if you see that. I'll bet you do, because you're sensitive too. You see it. You see that Paul's sense of mission, undeniable and very powerful, meets Lydia's sense of hospitality. And when mission meets hospitality, you have something called the kingdom of God. When mission meets hospitality, you have the kingdom of God. And people who are sensitive to God are in a position to make that work. Now, the church should probably be teaching people how to be more sensitive. Maybe they could start by telling people about the princess and the pea. I don't know. Or maybe we could tell them about the story of Paul and Lydia. and what happens when people are tuned in a particular way to what God wants and where God is leading them. We could say that those people have been poked from the bottom of the mattress that they call their cozy Christian faith. They have been poked from the bottom of the mattress of their cozy Christian faith and told to wake up, it's a new day. It's a new day. Wake up and get moving. God is calling. How is God calling? What new thing is God saying? This week, all over local and national television, you may have seen it. I certainly know I did. And somebody even mentioned it before worship this morning. The story of the baby who was left in the back of the daycare van for 5 hours and perished there all alone. If you can't sleep because you heard that story, then maybe God is prodding you to do something new for children. Is that the way it works? Or, if you watch a lot of news on television like I do, you probably noticed a pattern. Not 5 minutes into any newscast, this is what you're going to hear. And then, the moms of the school were outraged. Or, then, the legislators were outraged. Or, then, the voters were, what's the word going to be? Outraged. And you come away from stuff like that thinking, my word, is anybody happy anymore? Or is everybody outraged? And how could I possibly respond to something like that? Well, we're people, Christians are people of the Word. We study the Word. The Bible is the Word. Preaching is the Word. And the words that we use at communion are Christ's words. And they unite us and they give us life, don't they? So what if I decided that outrage would be the last word anybody ever used about me or the things that I said about life or other people? What if I decided that words like peace and compassion, caring and understanding were words that people use about what I do and what I say? Would that be something? Would that be a response to that little poking that we get on the mattress of our cozy Christian faith? If you pick that mattress up and look underneath it, you're going to see something that's in the shape of a question mark. That's what it looks like. And the question is, God, who do you think I am? I can't do any of these things. And even if I did, I couldn't change the world. I couldn't. And God answers your question by saying this: I promised you from the beginning that my Son would be with you even though he goes away. He'll always be there. And he and the Holy Spirit will always give you and the church everything you need to get the job done in the night while you sleep and you feel me poking you about what needs to be done. And there it is again, that poking, that insomniac relationship between not a prince and a princess, but between you and God. And you wake up in the morning and it's time to do something. You and Winifred the Woebegone and Dauntless the Doll and Queen Agravain, all the church, you and me. And when we wake to serve, we have the option of walking into new territory with Jesus, like Paul and like Lydia.